What's up guys? In today's video I'm going to teach you and I'm going to show you how to create a trading bot with Python, MQL5 and it will be in crypto. But yeah, whatever. So how do we start doing this? First of all, let me show you that you have the code here in my GitHub. So you just come to here to my profile, Coba1, which you will have that in the description by the way. So you come to Coba1, then trading bot, and here you come to MQL5 Python. This video is going to be very similar to the one I did with the MACD, but in this case we are going to use the RSI. So yeah, here you have all the code that I'm going to write right now. So yeah, once we have this, the first thing that you need is MetaTrader 5 because we are going to use MQL5 and for that we need MetaTrader 5. So for that what we are going to do is to open MetaTrader 5 and let's open that, let's wait a little bit and okay, you can see here that we have this. I'm telling you this because you have to install, you have to put some settings in this place. First of all, you have to come here to Tools, Options, and you have to click here on Allow Algorithmic Trading. Once you have this allowed, you have to also allow this thing here and add local host. So for example, if you are going to work with different computers, you will put the direction of the other computer. But since I'm going to do this bot in just one computer, you just have to put here local host. So you come here and put local host and it's the same thing as I put it here. So we can delete this one. Let me see if I can delete it. Yeah. Whatever. So yeah, you put localhost, and now what you have to do is to open Visual Studio Code or your favorite code editor. So yeah, you can see that here I have some steps and these are the steps that I just told you. So what you have to do is to install this. You will take here this pip install meta, the second T with a capital letter, MetaTrader 5. Oh wow, that was wrong because what I have to do is to not put that space, MetaTrader 5, and you can see that in my computer this requirement is already satisfied. Okay, so once we have this, what is the next thing that we have to do? Add that URL, which is the one that I told you, install the Python extension, which I already have it installed, this one, and yeah, we are actually ready to start. So the first thing that we are going to do is to create a bot file. Let's call it bot.py. And inside this file, we are going to create a class. So let me, whatever. So yeah, here what we have to do is to create that class that I talked about. But we are going to use the MetaTrader 5 library. So for that, you have to import this. Let's call it MT5. Okay, now we are going to create that class. And it's going to be called bot. And here we need to define the constructor. And what is the constructor going to take? First of all, let's define it, the init. And the constructor is going to take several things. First of all, you need to put self since it is a class method. And here you need to put the lotage. We are going to receive here the lotage. It is going to be a float. We need to also put the time period, which is also, is going to be in this case a integer. And finally, we need to set the market in which we want this bot to work. So for that, we are going to put here market, and it's going to be a string. This is just for putting the type, but if you don't want to put it, it's okay. Like Python is okay if you don't put any type, but yes, I'm putting this so it's more clear. So yeah, in order to initialize everything, this bot you have to take into account that we are going to use threads. So I would like to have a list in which I store the thread so later I can close that thread correctly. So for that, we are going to create a list, threads, and yeah, like this. And now we need to share data between those threads. We are going to take from MetaTrader 5 the RSI data, and we would like to share that with the thread that is going to handle the orders. So how do we do this? Here, we just need to create a dictionary, and this dictionary, this dictionary is going to be basically shared between the threads. So yeah, we are going to put here data, but inside this dictionary, let's put RSI, and here let's put none. Okay, then we need a threading event that we are going to use to stop all the threads. So for that we are going to call it peel to kill, and this is just simply a threading event. So we need to import the threading library. So from threading, create an event, and that's it. Then what else? We need also another dictionary, which is going to be the trading data that we are sending in the constructor. So for that, what we are going to do is, okay, let's going to call it trading data, and this is going to be a dictionary. So the first key is going to be lotage, which is going to be equal to lotage. Then we are going to have time period, which is equal to time period. I imported time there, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, time period. And finally the market. So for that we are going to put here market. Okay, so we have now all the information that we want initialized, but we need to define some methods, the methods that are going to call the different threads that we are going to create in this bot. So for example, here we need as the first method, we are going to call this thread RSI. So this function, well, this method is going to be the one which will create the thread of the RSI. Let's leave it like this for now, and let's create all the functions. For example, we need another one, which is going to be the thread orders, which is the one that is going to open orders, check if the RSI is here or here, whatever. So yeah, let's leave this like this for now. And yeah, these are the only threads that we are going to do, but we need functions to handle those threads. So first of all, for example, we can create a function to kill the threads. So for example, let's call it kill threads. So yeah, let's leave it like this. And now let's create another function to start the threads. Let's call it start. So yeah, this receives self. And finally, I want a function so the program, the process is waiting until I press enter, for example, so I can stop the bot. For this, we are going to do here def wait. This function is going to be the wait function. And here we are going to put pass. So yeah, we have all these functions. Let's start little by little. So for example, let's start with the thread RSI. Here, we have to create a thread. And how do we create a thread? So the thread is going to be called T, and we need to use the threading library. So for that, we are going to put here threading, here thread, and we need to send several arguments. The first one, the target. What are we going to execute? Since we haven't already created that function that we are going to execute, let's leave this. Then we need to declare another thing, which are the arguments that we are going to send to this function. This is a tuple, but again, we haven't defined this function, so we don't know what we have here. So we are going to leave this like this for the moment. So now, since we created this list of threads, we need to use it to store this thread. So what we are going to do is that self threads append T. So we append the T. After appending the T, we are going to start it. In this function, whenever we call thread RSI, we are going to start that thread. So here we put thread start, and let's put a print so we know that this thread has started. So for that, we are going to put something like this, info, and we are going to put thread RSI started. Yeah. So, okay, let's do the same for the orders thread because it is basically the same, but in this case, we haven't the thread RSI, we have the thread orders. And here now, how would we kill those threads? How would we stop the execution of those threads? So for that, what we need to do is that, okay, since we have this peel to kill, this threading event, we have to set that event. because basically the threads, what they are going to do is that they are going to be in an infinite loop, but in that loop they are checking if this event is set. So once that event is set, the threads go away. We must do that. So for that, what we are going to do is, okay, once you call this kill thread function, what we are going to do is that you are going to set the pill to kill so the threads stop. And in order to stop the threads in a right way, what we have to do is to, okay, since we have all the threads stored in the list, in this list, we are going to take them and we are going to properly stop them. So for that, we put here join. We are going to use the join function of each thread. So, okay, this is the kill threads, and now we need to start the threads. This function is very simple. We just need to call these two functions, the thread RSI and the thread orders. So for this, we are going to put thread RSI, and here we are going to call the thread orders. So yeah, and what about the wait function? What do we do here? Here we are going to put print, and we are going to say, hey, press enter to stop the bot. Okay, so this message will be enough. So once you see this, what we are going to do is that, okay, I will press enter and the bot will stop. We are going to call the input function, and yeah, that's it. So what we are going to do after this, after the input is taken, because it's the enter that we are asking for, we are going to kill the threads. And finally, we are going to MT5 shut down. So let me put this. Yeah, I'm importing this, so I don't know why I don't have the shortcuts or the highlighting or whatever, but yeah. So okay, we have done all the functions needed for this class, but we haven't done these functions that are very important. So let's go for that. Let's go first to the RSI module. So for this, what we are going to do is to create an RSI file, and here we are going to put rsi.py, and yeah, this function, well, this file is going to be very simple, but this is going to be the most important part, because we are going to take the information directly from MetaTrader 5. So from MetaTrader 5, we are going to take all this information. So for example, now the value is 58.57. We are going to take that. So how do we do this? We are going to do this by using sockets, and you have to know that Python is going to be the client and MetaTrader 5 is going to be the server. So the server is going to be sending information to the client, and yeah, that's it. Oh no, the other way around. This is going to be the server, Python is going to be the server, and MQL5 is going to be the client. So the client is going to be sending information to the server. So yeah. First of all, in this file, in this Python file, we need to import the socket library, because we are going to use a lot of sockets. And we are going to have some values that are going to be very important, which are the port of the socket, which for example can be 888, and then the address that we are going to use. And remember that I told you before that you needed to add localhost to MetaTrader 5 here in Tools, Options, Allow Algorithmic Trading, and here you have to put that localhost. This is very important. So once we have both of these functions, we need to start the server. How? We are going to create a function that we are going to call it, for example, socket any, and this function, what it's going to do is to start the sockets. How? For example, server socket is going to be a socket, and here we call again socket, and now we need to set several things. So for example, the address family, we are going to use IP version 4, so for that you just have to put here socket AF init, and here the type we are going to put a TCP socket. So for this, what you need to put here is socket sock stream. This simple, yeah, that's it. Now we need to bind this socket to the address and the port. So how do we do this? We have to put not this, we take this, and here we are going to use bind, and we need to send this a tuple. So this is going to be, well, the tuple is going to have the address and the port. Remember, it's very important that there's a tuple here, this tuple. Okay, so now we are going to say that this socket is going to listen. So how do we say that? We just have to call the function listen, and we have to say, hey, how many messages at most do you want to have in the queue, in the socket queue? 10, for example. That will be fine. So okay, we have this, and now what we actually have to do is to accept a connection, the MQL5 connection. So how do we do this? It's very simple. So for this, what we are going to do is to use the server socket, and again, it's just simply calling a function, accept. So we accept a connection, and this will return a connection that we will use later, and an address, the address which connects. So we have finished with this. We can put here a print and say, okay, let's put here info, and let's put the address that we want, and let's say that this address has been connected, Okay, perfect. And finally, we are going to return the connection and the address. I think that the address, we don't need to send it, but yeah, whatever. So we need to send the connection here. Let's remove all this, and the address. Perfect. But now we need to actually define the function that we are going to call whenever we activate the bot. So for example, this function, this target function of the thread, we need to create it. So for this, we are going to call it def thread RSI. And what is going to receive this? We are going to receive the peel to kill event. So we are going to call this stop event, and we are going to also receive the dictionary with the data. So we can modify the data, and the thread of orders can take that information. How do we do this? Very simple. So here we are going to put data. So we need to create a variable, which is going to be message, which is going to receive, well, in this variable, we are going to store the message that we receive from the socket, from MetaTrader 5. So here, what we have to put is, okay, first of all, let's start the socket. How? That's called socket ini, and we put it that we are going to receive a connection and an address. So something like this, perfect. And now we have to create that infinite loop that I said before. So here we are going to put while not stop event is set. So what this means is that while we don't call the kill threads function that sets that event, we are going to execute something inside this loop. So yeah, what is the thing that we are going to execute? First of all, we need to receive messages from MQL5, from MetaTrader 5. So for that, we are going to say that the message is equal to the connection, and here, oh sorry, this is not the address, this is the server socket, sorry, not server version, server socket, and here we are going to return that, so later we can close that. I was wrong for a moment. So yeah, connection, we are going to receive the message. Let's use a buffer of 1024, basically a byte, well not a byte, a kilobyte. And yeah, here we are going to decode this message because it comes in a strange format, and this will be, if you try to manage this raw string, you will be managing bytes. So yeah, whatever. Once we have this, okay, what we need now is to receive the message. Like we are going to receive a type of message, But for this, let me show you something. First of all, let's take all this code, because this is the MQL5 code, and this is not a tutorial of MQL5. And yeah, I already have this here. Oh, no, I don't have it, but yeah, it doesn't matter. So you have to click here on new, expert advisor, let's call it RSI client. You don't click any of these things, next and finish, and you take all this and you copy the code. So basically, why is this very useful? In this function, the onInit function, I'm saying, hey, whenever you start this bot in MQL in MetaTrader 5, you are going to load the RSI information. Then you are going to create a socket, and here on every tick, on every change of the price, we are going to send the RSI information. So this is very useful. But how are we going to send this information in this format, and which is this format? We are basically sending here, for example, let's say that we have a 34 here, the last value is this one, this is the last value, a comma, and then the previous value. Okay, well, for example, it could be 35 or 37. So this is the format. Maybe we have some decimals, but it doesn't matter. Both values are separated by this comma. So that's what we are sending here. So we can actually compile this, leave this here by now, and if we come back here to the RSI module, knowing that we have this, we can create a variable called RSI in which we are going to receive that message, and now we are going to split the message between commas. So once we have this, let's store the information in the data, but as a float, because here we have strings. But this can give you issues, so use the try and catch code. So here we are going to put, okay, data RSI is going to be equal to a list of float, and what? We are going to iterate through for in reversed RSI, because this is not in the order that we expect. Like, by the way, instead of reversing this, what we could do is that here we send a 1 and here we send a 0. So yeah, we don't have to reverse that thing. So now here, let's put here an R. And yeah, now here we need to put the except. And it is as simple as saying, okay, print, and we are going to say info, there was an error, but we ignore it. Like, this is not going to show, but sometimes when we try to close the connection, it can happen. So for this, what we are going to do is that, okay, if, look, I forgot to show you here, when we close the bot, this is the function for when we close the MQL5 bot, what we are actually doing is that we are sending to Python end connection. So what we are going to do is that if end connection is in the message, basically stop, go out from the loop, break. And once you go out from the loop, what you have to do is to first of all close the connection. Let's put here close, and finally close the socket. And yeah, we have basically finished with this, but we could actually try it now to see if everything is working fine. So here we are going to print the data RSI. Let's put this under so we don't have any issue. Okay, and let's put some things here. For example, let's not execute these thread orders. We just want to execute this. And let's not forget to put the function that we have to call. So let's import the RSI module. And here, let's put RSI and thread RSI. That is going to be the target. And the next thing that we need to put are the arguments. So here we are going to send, first of all, we set the stop event. Yeah, so the PL to kill, self, PL to kill, and finally the data. So we put here the data. But this wasn't the data, it was self data. So, okay, I think that this is fine. Yes, it is fine. And yeah, now we can really try it. But okay, I forgot that we need to actually create a main file. So here we are going to create a main file. So we are going to put main.py, and we are going to say, okay, from the bot file, import the bot class. And I think, no, we don't need to import MetaTrader 5. Well, yeah, we need to import MetaTrader 5. So we are going to import MetaTrader 5 as MT5. And here we are going to say, okay, initialize a client. If it is not initialize, MT5 initialize. And now create not the MACD bot, RSI bot. So here, this bot is going to be equal to bot, and we need to send the lotage, which is a float. That's why this is very useful to put the types 0.01. The time period, for example, 1 hour, this is in seconds. Well, we have to put that 1 hour in, well, this is it's in seconds, so this is 1 minute, 60. And, well, let's put 1 hour, so 60 by 60. And finally, we have to put here the market. So the market is a string, and for example, the BTC euro. So now we start the RSI bot. Let's put here start. And finally, let's put here wait. So it waits until our interaction. So let's save this file. Let's save this other file. And now what we can do is here, let's clear all this and let's say Python main.py. Let's see if I'm not wrong anywhere. Okay. I think I'm not wrong. And here what I can do is that I can take the bot which we compiled, here it is, and I can actually execute it here. So accept, you come here to experts and you have to see things. So for example, here we haven't connected, and I think that I know why. And it's because we haven't connected to the correct direction. So it's very important to check the ports. So for example, here in the RSI, I set 8888, and I think that here in the RSI, I'm not using that. So for example, 86, that's the problem. So we compile again. We are going to take again the bot RSI client, accept, and now it was very fast. So you can see here that, okay, this was connected, the localhost, this is the port that is using the MetaTrader 5, and you can see that basically we are taking the information. So this is the last value, and this is the previous one. So let's check if this is correct. So we have 32, 30, well, let's check the previous one, 30.3491. So we are using the hour, right? Because I may be wrong. So we are using the current period, and here we are in 1 minute. So we are not taking the hour, we are taking the 1 minute. And okay, this is the last one, but what about the previous one? 29, is this one? 2967. So this is the 1 minute. Okay, 2967. This is fine, like it changed. And here is 35, 37. It's going up. Let's see, 37. But yeah, 2967. This is the good thing, that this value is the one that we are actually checking. It's very important that this time that we are putting here is not relevant for this module, for the indicator module. Why? Because here we are basically taking what MetaTrader 5 is sending us. So basically, if we want to take the 1 hour, here we have to put the bot in the 1 hour chart. And we didn't do that. I was wrong, and I put the bot in the 1 minute chart. So that's why we have the information from the 1 minute chart. But don't get confused, because it is important to put this time for the other thread module, which is the thread of orders. So okay, you can see that now by pressing enter you stop the bot, and yeah, here let's remove that print. But yeah, don't forget one thing, and is that you have to also stop it here. So you have to come here and you click on delete. So yeah, we can see that this module is working fine. And let's create now this other module, which was, let me see, yeah, the orders module. This one is a little bit longer, but it's easier because we are going to use the MetaTrader 5 library in order to call and create orders. So let's put here orders.py, and here we need to set some things. First of all, we are going to use some libraries such as MetaTrader 5 as MT5, and here we are also going to use the date time. So here we are going to put date time, and yeah, let's define some things. For example, let's define the first variable, which is going to be candles between operations. What we are saying here is, okay, how many candles do we want between each operation? Because we could open several operations in the same candle, or we could want that we need to wait, for example, 3 candles between each operation. So if you create an operation now, you have to wait 3 candles to open another one if the conditions have met. So another thing that we need to set is the stop loss. So for example, we are going to put here stop loss is going to be 100. This means the number of points. So for example, what is a point? Here, if you press Ctrl F and click, you can see that these are 50 points, and here that. So we are going to put 100 points. So another thing that we have to put here is the take profit. So here take profit, and it's going to be 200. So here we put that. Okay, but now we need to set some conditions. You can see here that the RSI has some levels. So for example, it has the 70 level and the 30 level. Let's define that. So for example, RSI top is going to be at 70, and this means that once we are above this top, we are going to sell, and once we are below this other top, we are going to buy. So here we have to put RSI bottom, which is going to be equal to 30. Okay, but now we have to define the function for the thread. So we have to define that thread orders function. So how do we create this function? We are going to put here dev thread orders, and here we need to say, okay, the stop. Well, what are we going to receive? The stop event, the data, and the trading data. This data that we are receiving here, that is important. It's important to know the current time that we are going to use, the lottage, and the market. So we are going to also receive that data. So here we come back here, and let's call this trading data, which was this dictionary that we created here. This one. So yeah, let's continue, and okay, this is what the function receives, sorry. And here we have to do some things. So for example, we need a variable to store the last operation time. So this variable is going to contain the second in which the last operation has been created. So for example, here, how do we save that second? So what we are going to use, let me see if I remember how is this called. We are going to use this format, seconds from epoch. So here, current epoch time. Basically, we are going to use the Unix format. So here, what we have is the seconds between the epoch, and the epoch was in 1970s, and yeah, it was the 1st of January 1970s at 12 o'clock, yeah. So that's it. But how do we declare that epoch? We have to put here ep is going to be equal to date time. That's why we imported date time, and here we're going to put date time, and as I said, 1970s. That, by the way, it doesn't matter what you put here, like this is just a reference point, but yeah, I want to use that time. 0, 0, and 0. So this, I think, is the month, the date, the hour, the time, well, the minute, and the second. So yeah, once we have this, we need to do one thing, and is wait until the RSI module has loaded all the information. Why? Because it can happen that the information is still not loaded and we try to read something that is not loaded. And this will give us a big mistake, a big error in the bot, and we don't want that. So here we are going to create a while, and we are going to say while data RSI is none. Why is none? Because if you remember here, we initialize this to none. So we have to check if it is still none. So if it is still none, pass. Don't do anything. Wait. Once it is not none, we are going to continue and we are going to execute the thread. So here, what we can do is that, okay, now we are going to create another thread, which is, okay, while the stop event, again, as in the RSI module, is not set. Here we put this. We are going to do two things. First of all, we need to store the current time. So the current time is going to be equal to the date time. Here we're going to put date time. And basically we need to store the current time, well, the current second in this Unix timestamp. So for this we are going to put UTC now, and we are going to subtract the value of the epoch of this thing, so we don't have a super big number. And here we are going to say, okay, total seconds. Okay, perfect. And now we need to set the conditions for opening by positions. Let's put here by, and another condition for opening a cell position cell. So which is the condition for a byte position? It's very simple. We are going to put, here, if the RSI value, if the last value, here this 0, is less than the RSI bottom, we need to open a byte position. But we can have a problem, and is that you can check here in the metadata 5 that, for example, here the value was up, then down, up, down in the same candle. So we could have an issue, and the issue could be that we are going to open a lot of positions in the same candle. So we don't want that, and that's why I defined this variable candle between operation. So in order to avoid that issue, what we can do here is, okay, let's put here this. So what we can put here is, okay, that condition that we defined here, and also that the current time is bigger than the last operation time plus trading data. And here we are going to use the time period. That's why I said before that the time period, although it looks like we are not going to use it, we are going to use it, and it's for this, to say, okay, 3 candles. We need 3 candles between each operation. And we need to know what is the time frame, like how many seconds does the current time frame have. And that's why we put it here. 60 by 60 equals the amount of seconds that the current, well, the 1 hour time frame has. So okay, and now we need to multiply this by candles between operations. So once we have this, we are going to call the function open position here. And we need to define some things, but we need to copy all this. Let's put it here. And we could put this in another condition above this level, but whatever. So here, instead of below the RSI bottom, we need to be above the RSI top. And this thing is the same. So here, we also need to open the position. But we need to also, since we are going to open another position, update this value, the last operation time. So we take this here, last operation time is going to be equal to the current time. And we put this the same. And okay, we need to create a generic function to open positions. How? And what is it going to receive? More data. trading data, and in this case we are going to receive the market. So we receive here the market, we also receive here the trading data, and we are going to send the lotage, here the lotage, and MT5 order, the type of the order. So here we are going to use the MT5 values. So for example, order type by. So let's copy all this because it's basically the same here. And instead of order type by, order type sell. Okay, so now let's create this function, the open position function. We come here and def open position, and we are going to put, okay, we need the market, we need also the lotage, and we need also the type of the operation, type of P. Okay, so now we need to store some things. We need to open up our operation. One thing you have to know is that here on Google, if you put MT5 open positions, you are going to open positions, let's put Python as well, you are going to be, you are going to see a tutorial. Yeah, I was wrong, it's order send. So this function, you have here a great example on how to create, look, you have all this example, and this is how you can open a position. For example, we need all this because we are going to use it. Let's put this here, and yeah, you can see that we have basically everything done. So here, instead of lot, we are not going to use lot, we are not going to use this, we are not going to use symbol, we are going to use market. So here we put market. Oh wow, let me see, yeah, symbol, let's put here market, and here market, and here lotage. But yeah, we need to define also several things, such as the stop loss and the take profit. Here you can see that it is automatically done by, we subtract 100 and we are, we are 100, but no, we don't want that. So what we want is that, okay, let's do something. If the type operation is equal to MT5, is basically a buy order type by, we are going to say, okay, the stop loss is going to be below the opening price. So we are going to say minus stop loss by the value that each point has. That's why here we have point. So we are going to put here by point, and the take profit is going to be above. So here price plus take profit by point. Okay, perfect. And in any other case, the case we have a sell, we are going to do exactly the same, but instead of subtracting here, we are going to add, because the stop loss is above and the take profit is below, is the case of a sell. So here we put this. Okay, and now we can also keep taking things. That's why I'm telling you, like, this example is perfect. And look, we could take all this and let's remove the things that we do not want. So let's put this, yeah, correct. Okay, I think that I did that wrong. So yeah, we put this like this. And yeah, for example, we don't want, well, we want this. We want this to say, to check the error, but we don't want any of these things. Yeah, with this is totally fine. So yeah, this is what we want. And I think that we have actually finished with this orders thing, but we are not using the stop loss and the take profit. So here we need to take this stop loss, and here we need to take this, the take profit. And actually here we have set the type of the operation to buy, but it's actually the type that we receive. So here type OP. And yeah, I think that now we have truly finished. So yeah, let me check. I think that yeah, we have finished. So let's try the bot. For example, let's see. Let's close all this. And yeah, let's check. For example, now the last value is 55. Since I'm not going to make you wait until the value is above 70 or below 30, we are going to say that, okay, in order to open a position, the value needs to be above 50. So for this, RSI top, we are going to put here a 50. And it should open a position once we execute this. So we are going to open a terminal. Let me close this one and this one because this is the previous one. Let's remove all this, and now we are going to execute. Well, we have forgot one thing. We have to come here to the bot class and change this. So here we have to say orders. We haven't imported that, so we are going to put orders, and we have to say orders dot thread orders. And here we receive everything. So we receive the pill to kill, the data, we are going to put here data, and basically we receive the trading data. Perfect. So yeah, I think that now we have truly finished. We need to remove that comment, and let's try now. So let's save. Let me not forget that. Okay, Python made notepy, let's check. Okay, threads order started. Now the orders are here. Here in this loop, waiting until the RSI has been lowered. So now the thing that we're going to put, okay, I put 50, and look, we are not going to see that. So let me open this just to check that there is no random error. So basically, if we double click, okay, connection established, sending in RSI, we don't have any issue, we are not printing anything, but the problem is that now this went down. So we are not going to see that. What we can do actually, which is the value? Let's say, okay, look, let's not make this very long. So instead of, let's put 30. In both cases, 30. So we should see how a buy opens. And don't forget one thing, like if you change this, you need to stop the bot. Okay, the bot has stopped. You need to remove this. And now you need to load this again. So here we put this. Okay, this is going like way down. So we are going to open a buy, and it's going to be going down. Okay. Okay, so you can see that we have an error. This was good. So for example, symbol was not defined. Let's check what is symbol and what is not. Why is this not defined? Okay, look. Here instead of symbol is market, and instead of dot is lotage. Perfect. It was just this simple thing. So we open this again. Let's remove this. And now let's open the RSI bot. And okay, fine. You can see that now automatically, since we are saying, okay, if it is above 30, create a buy operation. If it is below, create a sell operation. The value is above and it hasn't opened a position. Why? So we can see that the red code was this one, and what we can actually do is to come here to Google and say, okay, Python order send red code 1030, like 130. Does anyone know? Okay, I don't want to do this. Like, this is how you fix errors. So for example here, invalid order filling type. Okay, I forgot to tell you this. This is very important. Why? Because this depends on the broker that you are using. So for example, one broker uses one thing, another broker uses another thing, etc. Here you have to put filling fog for this broker that I'm using right now. So I'm using the Evolve Markets broker. You need to use that thing in order to create operations with this. But with another one, you may use the order filling, I don't know. So for example, you have to check that for your broker. In this case, is this one. But yeah, so we are going to close this. Let's close this here as well. And yeah, let's open this again. And I think that now this will work. Let's see. So we open this. Okay, connection established. And let's check, okay, supposedly you can see that now a sell position, this was very strange because I think that we are above. So since we are above, we have to open a sell position. But yeah, you can see that the bot works and there should be 100 points until here. Okay. Yeah, 100 points more or less. I don't know where it was open, like maybe it was open like right here, and yeah, 100 points until here. But under this, that should be somewhere around 200. And yeah, we have somewhere around 200. So yeah, guys, that's how you create this amazing bot. So what we can do now is to close all these, but I hope you understood how to create a bot here in MetaTrader 5 with Python. And if so, give it a like, share, subscribe, and see you in the next one.